Yes, people, the Premier League weekend is over. Post international break. So let's round up the results. Let's round up the results, man. Some good games, some good results, some good debuts from a lot of people. So let's get right into it. We're going to start with the early kickoff. Arsenal 3, Nottingham Forest nil. Dominant performance from Arsenal. Ange Postecoglou's first game in charge at Forest, but obviously, he'll get that grace of he was only there for like 2 days, maybe didn't have enough time to train, as Ruben Amorim likes to say. Um, sorry, going on a tangent. But yeah, 3-0 dominant performance. I think we all kind of expected this. Um, top performances from Madueke and Zubamendi. I want to talk about Madueke first because all you Arsenal fans, when you signed Madueke, you were either saying, why are we signing him when we need this or we need that? And because this is what all the Arsenal fans are acting like they weren't saying, you all said that he weren't good enough. And all my Arsenal mates, all of you know who you are. I don't need to call your name. You know who you all are. I told you Madueke is a very good signing. Independently of what else you needed in the transfer market, you needed a better understudy to Saka when Saka's too tired or not playing well, and you guys always make the excuses. There's no one helping him. He's tired. We can't always, or he's injured. When Saka isn't available, you needed a better player to fill in for him. And Madueke is that player. That was something that I felt was so necessary in improving your squad. And Madueke seems like the perfect fit for that. Of course, people are saying silly things like, is he better than Saka? No, of course not. But he is a great player, and I do think that he will prove that throughout the season, and he will be an integral part in any positives and potential success that Arsenal may have. And I think he really came into his own and he's really settling in nicely at Arsenal. Do I think that he'll have that same effect when Saka comes back on the left? No, I don't. I do think Madueke should be a player that isn't is available for when Saka isn't, because I just don't see him on the left. I don't think he's as natural on the left in terms of the way he likes to cut in, the way he likes to play. The thing is, he can use both feet, so I'm not saying he will be completely trash on the left. No, I'm just saying that in terms of specialization, where he's therefore best on the right. And I pose this question to Arsenal fans. Of course, you've got Eze, who, you know, you guys will be looking to start on the left from now on, but is there a world that, and not that it's Madueke's moving Saka out of his position, no, it's just the case of specialization in the team. Saka, we know he's got such high quality on the right, on the left. He started on the left as a left back and he was, playing amazingly. Is there a world that we see Madueke on the right to get the best out of him? We see Saka on the left just because he can play there and you know that Saka will still be amazing. Is there a world that we see Saka on the left and then Eze / Odegaard in the middle? Is that a thing we see? Because imagine Saka on the left whipping in crosses for Gyökeres. I I can imagine that being like working out very well. Food for thought. Food for thought. Zubamendi, a very sound performance. He is Arsenal's new number 6 to dictate play, but chipping in with the goals as well. Yeah, I mean that's like every Arsenal man's dream. Um, it's a great volley. More about the connection rather than the actual. It wasn't in the corner. It was central at the keeper. It's taken a deflection. The keeper's even still got a hand to it. I could argue that the keeper probably should have saved it, but take nothing away from the technique, the connection of Zubamendi's volley. It's a great, great goal. And then Gyökeres scoring a typical number 9 goal. Eze with the assist, Eze with his first debut from the beginning of the game, starting. So I think it's an all-round, happy and content performance from Arsenal. I'm sure the Arsenal fans will walk away from this one all smiles. So shout out to them. Moving on, let's go to Brentford Chelsea. I think that was probably the tie that other people had their eyes on. I think to start off, Maresca, we have to talk about the starting lineup, the squad selection. Did you think that you could really start a B team against Brentford and like still win? Because that's the vibes it's given, that you kind of undermined them and got a bit complacent and underestimated Brentford there, because no game other than the promoted teams, and even they're not easy games, but no game in the Premier League is easy anymore. So to field a B team was insane to me. For me, you know, I know everyone has their issues, but I'm a huge fan of Garnacho, and I was thinking surely with their injuries, Garnacho was going to start, but instead they had João Pedro up top, Buonanotte with his debut in the cam, and then Bino Gittins on the left, I believe, and then Pedro Neto on the right. But I just don't understand starting Bino Gittins ahead of Garnacho when Bino Gittins is like, I know he's played a few more games, or had a few more minutes in a Chelsea shirt, but Garnacho, you know what he does in the Prem. So I thought that would have been a perfect game for Garnacho to start, but he didn't. Um, And then when he did come on, I know he played a no, he played a big part in Chelsea's second goal, Caicedo's goal. So that was really good. But he then did go to sleep at the back post for Carvalho's equalizer. So I mean, bittersweet for Garnacho. He'll probably leave that game going into the week with his head down a bit by making that mistake. But definitely promising. I think he was a lot more promising than other Chelsea wingers in that game. Um, and yeah, like to be honest, and I say this to my friend who's a Chelsea fan, he knows who he is. Garnacho will be Chelsea's best winger. Esteval might have something to say about that, but I think once the season goes on and he gets into gear, especially in a fluid attacking team like Chelsea, Garnacho will be Chelsea's best winger. Uh, I'm quite positive on that. Um, Cole Palmer back with a goal as well. Really nice, really neat take and finish. Shout out João Pedro. You know that assist is so underrated. It's so underrated. It looks like, oh yeah, just so many people ain't even challenging for that ball. But he's challenged for it, he's got there, and it's a nice finish by Palmer. But Palmer will feel frustrated that he hasn't tucked away the second chance, because that should be his brace, and that's probably the end of the game if he does put that away. So really frustrating from them. But Brentford, they'll be happy to get some points on the board, especially against Chelsea, a game that they'd probably be perceived to lose. Um, but yeah, they've had a struggling start to the season, so a good point for Brentford. Um, West Ham United, Spurs, 3-0 to Spurs. What a performance. Spurs are looking really good. Spurs are looking really good. I know they had the blip against Bournemouth, but they really did bounce back very well. That defense is looking very, very sound. Pedro Porro, Romero, Van der Ven, and Jed Spence, the New England debutants. Very sound back four. I think that they will get a lot of clean sheets this season, in my opinion. They will. Adogi, I don't know if he's back from injury, but he will find it hard to get back into this team. I think so. But yeah, really, really dominant sound performance from Spurs. Xavi Simons, what a debut. He's just a class act. And I spoke about Xavi Simons in in the preview, you know. Um, I'm so glad to see him in the Premier League because again, FM guys will know this is a real, true wonder kid. You know what I'm saying? So really nice to see him have a good debut. You know, bring his flair, bring his skill to the Premier League, and what a cross from the corner! What a cross! Literally put it onto Pape Sarr's head, and it's a good header from Pape Sarr. Pape Sarr has started the season very well. Frank is using him in the cam role, and um, yeah, like he's doing a great job there. He's almost just an all-action midfielder, but you're seeing Frank sees more of an attacking threat from him, which previous managers haven't. So really good from Spurs, and Spurs' squad depth this season is looking good. They definitely improved in that manner, and I think, you know, they'll be in and around, you know, the top five, I reckon, this season. I reckon they will be. I reckon they will be. Moving on. Newcastle 1, Wolves 0. Woltemade, debut goal. That is a proper number nines finish. I love a header like that, you know. And he's so tall, he's like 6'6". So really good win for Newcastle. They did dominate the game, and it just seemed like, especially as the game went on and it was 1-0, that they just settled for the 1-0 and defending their lead. Another clean sheet for them, so that's good because even I believe their last game was Leeds 0-0, so they'll want to build on that as well. Jacob Murphy, very underrated. Very underrated. I think he just goes under the radar because he's maybe not the most skillful or whatever, but the way he links up play and the way he's effective in terms of output, you know, Isak really reaped the rewards of Murphy's dog work last season, and maybe Voltemade will reap the benefits this season. And he's keeping players like Elanga out of the team. You know, Elanga, you thought, you know, big signing in the summer. I'm thinking, yeah, surely he's gonna be first team for them, but I might have to take him out my fantasy team because boy, just coming on to get some dog minutes. But that also shows the depth that Newcastle were working with after they've even lost, you know, their best player. Other fixtures, what we got: Bournemouth, Brighton 2-1 to Bournemouth. Antoine Semenyo. Eesh. Hey, he is balling out. And I'll be surprised if he don't continue this, that he doesn't get a move in the summer. Because he is balling out. Someone needs to stop that man. Someone needs to stop that man. And I will be at the Man United Bournemouth game in December. And eesh, I hope his form dips before I get there. Because boy, he's really playing so well. So shout out to Semenyo, keep it up. Um, Also, you know, Matoma on the score sheet as well. Will Matoma reach those levels that he first did a few years ago? And you know, Brighton, it was a close game, but you know, Brighton just a little bit short. But I think Brighton are playing very well this season as well. You know, the likes of Minter, Labour didn't start, but you know, they've got some quality players there. But that's, you know, Brighton have got that um I guess business model running like clockwork over there. So really good. Bournemouth have started the season so well, um, and we'll see if it continues. Other games: Fulham Leeds 1-0. It was a close game. It seemed like a bit harsh on Leeds. On goal from Goodmanson. Um, but yeah, I think Fulham will be glad to, you know, bounce back from the loss against Chelsea. And then the final two games, we've got Everton, Aston Villa 0-0. Everton looking very hard to beat in terms of good defense and defense. I'm sounding American. Good defense, and Aston Villa 2 points. They're 19th in the Premier League right now. Unai Emery, Aston Villa got to buckle up their ideas, but I think as the season goes on, they'll probably get into gear. They'll probably want the likes of players, Tielemans to really step up in the manner that they did last season. And Sancho didn't get any minutes this game, but we'll see if Sancho will be able to help them, improve because Aston Villa don't belong 19th. That's for sure. That is for sure. And then the final game, Crystal Palace nil, Sunderland nil. Crystal Palace are, I said Everton are hard to beat, but Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park, they're looking like a force to be reckoned with because people can't beat it. People can't score there, you know? And yeah, they're just doing a really good job. And, Mark Guehi, captain, at the heart of it all, he just looks like his trajectory is going up and up. So shout out to Mark Guehi. And I want to, as much as Palace are a good team, I want to really talk about Sunderland to end this video, man. Sunderland, they're seventh in the Premier League. They've got what? They've got 7 points from 12, 2 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss, which was to Burnley, which is probably the game you expect them to win, maybe. But they've got 2 wins and a draw, and Sunderland really going under the radar here. They're doing a great, great, great job. So shout out Sunderland, man. And I really do hope that Sunderland are here to stay in the Premier League for years and years and years to come because yeah, man, that's just a classic Premier League club from when I was growing up. So would love to see them continue this run and hopefully they can follow the trajectories of teams like Bournemouth and Brighton to really make a stay in this Premier League. So shout out to Sunderland, man. Um, Manchester City, Man United. If you want to see my thoughts on that, there's a separate video for that. Go check the review for the Manchester derby. Yeah, you can imagine that. You can imagine that I'm not too happy about that. So if you want to see all my views on what's going on over there, then go check that video out. But listen, like, comment, share, subscribe, people, man. What was you lot's favorite goal from the weekend? What was you lot's favorite performance from the weekend? Who is your star player from the weekend? If you could give a star player award for the weekend, who would you pick? Would you pick Madueke? Would you pick Zubamendi? Would you pick Semenyo, Woltemade, Xavi Simons? You know, could it be Van der Ven? You know, Van der Ven got clean sheet and a goal. Also, Romero's goal should not have been disallowed. By the way, that's pathetic that they disallowed that. But yeah, man, like, comment, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff, man. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.